Most men think a hug is just a hug, a quick greeting, a polite goodbye, a simple moment of physical contact. But what if I told you a single hug can reveal exactly how a woman feels about you? Her interest, her comfort, her attraction, and sometimes even her hidden curiosity about you. The problem is, most men never learn how to read these signals. They hug back awkwardly. They pull away too fast, or they freeze in the moment because they have no idea what that hug actually meant. And without realizing it, they end up sending the wrong message. They signal nervousness, they signal insecurity. Sometimes they even signal complete disinterest, even when they're actually interested. But today, that changes because in this video, I'm going to break down the 4 types of hugs women give and explain exactly how you should respond so you never miss a moment of attraction again. Once you understand these signals, you'll start noticing things most men remain completely blind to. And trust me, after watching this video, you'll never look at a hug the same way again. Before we go deeper, take a second to like this video, because what you're about to learn can completely change the way you read attraction. And I want to ask you something right now. Be honest with yourself. Have you ever walked away from a hug thinking, what did that actually mean? That small moment, that slight hesitation, that feeling that there was something more, but you couldn't quite decode it? Because here's the truth most people don't talk about. Attraction rarely lives in words. It lives in moments, subtle ones, quiet ones, the kind that pass in seconds but leave you thinking for hours. And that's exactly why this matters so much. Hi, I'm Sarah Jones, and if you've ever felt confused by mixed signals, if you've ever replayed a moment in your mind trying to figure out what she felt, then you're in the right place. Because today, we're not just talking about hugs. We're decoding human behavior. We're stepping into the deeper layers of female psychology, the unspoken language that reveals what words often hide. Let me pull you into a real-life scenario for a second. Imagine this. You meet a woman you've been talking to for a while. There's been some chemistry, some playful conversation, maybe a bit of tension you can't quite explain. And then, as you say goodbye, she hugs you. It lasts just a moment longer than expected. Not dramatic, not obvious, but enough to make you pause. Now here's the question. What do you do in that moment? Most men either overreact or underreact. Some panic internally. Was that something? Should I have done more? Others completely dismiss it. It's just a hug. And both responses miss the truth completely. Because a hug is never just physical. It's emotional data. It's information. It's her body communicating something her words may not. And the more you understand that, the more powerful your interactions become. Let's break this down properly. Why do hugs matter more than you think? Because body language is honest. People can control what they say, they can filter their words, adjust their tone, even hide their intentions. But their body, that's much harder to control. The way someone touches you, the way they hold you, the way they stay or pull away, these are instinctive responses. They come from emotion, not logic. And that's exactly why a hug is one of the most revealing forms of communication. Think about it. The length of the hug, the pressure, the placement of her hands, the distance between your bodies, the way she exits the hug, each of these details tells a story. The distance between your bodies, the way she exits the hug, each of these details tells a story. The distance between your bodies, the way she exits the hug, each of these details tells a story. And once you start noticing them, something interesting happens. You stop guessing, you start understanding. You stop chasing clarity through words, and you begin reading it through presence. You stop chasing clarity through words, and you begin reading it through presence. Now, let's go deeper into the first type of hug. The one almost every man experiences, but very few truly understand. The friendly pat hug. At first glance, it feels simple, harmless, easy to interpret. It usually lasts 1 or 2 seconds. Her body leans slightly forward. There's limited torso contact. And often, you'll feel those quick pats on your back. 1, 2, maybe 3. It feels warm, polite, respectful, but also controlled. And here's where many men make a critical mistake. They interpret this hug as rejection. They think she's not interested. And then, without realizing it, their entire behavior shifts. They become distant, less engaged, less confident. But that interpretation is flawed. Because this hug doesn't mean rejection. It means comfort. It means she feels safe around you. And that is actually a powerful position to be in. Let me explain why. Attraction doesn't always start with intensity. It often starts with familiarity, with ease, with emotional safety. A woman is far more likely to develop deeper attraction with someone she already feels comfortable around than with someone who immediately creates pressure or uncertainty. So if you receive this type of hug, don't try to force something more in that moment. That's where most men go wrong. They rush the process. Instead, your focus should shift. Build emotional connection, create moments of laughter, hold eye contact just a second longer, introduce subtle playfulness into your conversations, because attraction grows in layers, and this is the foundation. Let me give you an example. There was a guy I once coached. Let's call him Arjun. He met a woman through mutual friends. Every time they greeted each other, it was that same friendly pat hug. Quick, casual, nothing intense, and he assumed she wasn't interested. So he held back. Until one day, instead of overthinking, he simply stayed present. He started engaging her differently, more relaxed, more playful, more confident. Weeks later, that same hug changed. It lasted longer. There were no pats. Her body stayed closer. Nothing dramatic, but everything shifted. And that's the part most men never see, because they give up too early, or they misread the signal. Now let's move into the second type of hug. And this is where things start to get more interesting. The firm hug. This one feels different immediately. There's intention in it. It lasts longer than a second or two. Her arms wrap around you with noticeable pressure, not aggressive, but present, grounded, real. And most importantly, it doesn't feel rushed. It feels like she means it. This type of hug often signals familiarity, trust, comfort at a deeper level. She enjoys being around you. She feels good in your presence. But here's where many men sabotage the moment. They break the hug too quickly, almost instinctively, because they feel the intensity, and it makes them slightly uncomfortable. And in that split second, they communicate something unintentionally: uncertainty, nervousness, a lack of confidence in the moment. So instead, I want you to try something different. The next time you experience a firm hug, don't rush. Stay in it. Just 1 second longer than your instinct tells you. Not in a forced way, not in a way that feels unnatural, just present. And then observe. Does she smile when you pull away? Does she hold eye contact? Does she stay close for a moment instead of stepping back immediately? These are the details that matter, because attraction often reveals itself in what happens after the hug, not just during it. And once you start noticing these patterns, you begin to understand something powerful. Connection is not built in grand gestures. It's built in subtle moments, handled correctly. And next, we're going to step into the hugs that most men completely misunderstand. The ones that quietly signal attraction, curiosity, and sometimes even desire. And trust me, this is where everything changes. Now let's step into the hugs that most men completely misread. The ones that quietly signal attraction, curiosity, and sometimes something even deeper, but only if you know how to recognize it. Because this is where the difference happens. This is where average awareness ends and real understanding begins. And before we go further, I want you to pause for a second and really think about this. Have you ever been in a moment with a woman where something felt different, but you couldn't explain why? Not obvious, not dramatic, just different, a slight shift in energy, a moment that lingered a little longer than expected, a feeling that something was there, but you didn't act on it. If that's ever happened to you, then what you're about to learn might change the way you see those moments forever. Because attraction rarely announces itself loudly, it whispers, and if you're not paying attention, you miss it. Let's talk about the third type of hug, the lingering hug. This is where things begin to move beyond comfort and into connection. A lingering hug isn't about duration alone, it's about presence. It's when the hug lasts just a little longer than what's socially expected. Not long enough to feel awkward, but long enough to feel intentional. And the key detail here is this. She doesn't rush to let go. Her body relaxes, her arms stay around you, and for a brief moment, neither of you moves. Now that moment right there, that pause, that stillness, that's where the signal lives. So when she stays, when she allows that closeness to exist without urgency, it's telling you something. She feels comfortable, she feels safe, and most importantly, she's not resisting the connection. Let me bring this to life with a simple scenario. Imagine you're saying goodbye after spending time together. Maybe it was a casual coffee, maybe a walk, maybe just a conversation that flowed naturally. Nothing forced, nothing overly intense, and then you hug. At first it feels normal, but then it continues, just a second longer. Her hands don't immediately drop, her body doesn't pull away. There's a softness in the moment, and you feel it. That's not accidental. That's emotional alignment. But here's where most men break the moment. They panic internally. Is this too long? What should I do? Am I overthinking this? And then they pull away too quickly. And in doing that, they interrupt the connection. They cut off the emotional flow. And without realizing it, they send a message. I'm not fully comfortable here. An attraction needs comfort to grow. So instead, here's what I want you to understand. When you experience a lingering hug, you don't need to escalate dramatically. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to force a reaction. You just need to match the moment. Stay relaxed. Stay present. Allow the pause to exist. And if it feels natural, you can add a subtle layer, a gentle squeeze, a calm hand placement on her upper or lower back. Nothing excessive, nothing rehearsed, just grounded presence, because confidence isn't loud, it's calm. And in moments like this, calm confidence creates emotional safety, and emotional safety is what allows attraction to deepen. Now here's something even more important. The lingering hug is often a test, not a conscious one, but an emotional one. She's observing without saying a word. How do you handle closeness? Do you freeze? Do you rush? Do you become tense? Or do you simply stay comfortable? Because how you behave in these small moments tells her how you'll behave in bigger ones. Now let's go even deeper. The fourth type of hug, the one that speaks the loudest, the intimate embrace. This is no longer subtle, but it's still quiet. And that's what makes it powerful. In this type of hug, there's full body alignment. She leans into you, not just with her arms, but with her presence. Her head may rest on your shoulder, sometimes near your neck. Her arms wrap around you more completely, and occasionally, there's movement. A slow, gentle motion of her hand across your back. Now pause here for a second, because this matters. People are incredibly protective of their personal space. We don't naturally allow this level of closeness unless we feel something, unless we trust, unless we're comfortable enough to let our guard down. So when a woman leans into you like this, she's not just hugging you, she's allowing you into her space, emotionally and physically. And that's significant. But once again, most men mishandle this moment. Not because they don't care, but because they overthink. They feel the intensity, and they either become stiff, or they rush to end it. And both responses break the connection. So here's what you do instead. Nothing dramatic, nothing forced. You stay present, you breathe, you allow the moment to exist without trying to control it. And if it feels natural, you respond with the same energy, a steady hold, a relaxed posture, a sense of calm groundedness. Because in that moment, she's not looking for perfection, she's feeling for safety, and safety doesn't come from words, it comes from how you show up. Now let me share something that most people overlook. Sometimes, this type of hug isn't just about attraction. It can also be about emotional comfort. Maybe she had a long day. Maybe she feels safe with you. Maybe she trusts you in a way she doesn't trust others. And that's why context matters. That's why awareness matters. Because not every signal is romantic, but every signal is meaningful. And when you understand that, you stop reacting blindly. You start responding intentionally. Now let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this. Have you ever experienced a hug like this and didn't know how to handle it? Did you pull away too quickly? Did you freeze? Or did you feel something but ignore it? Because awareness without action doesn't change anything, but awareness with presence changes everything. And this is where most men begin to shift, not by learning lines, not by memorizing techniques, but by becoming more aware, more grounded, more present in real moments. Because attraction doesn't need performance, it needs authenticity. But by becoming more aware, more grounded, more present in real moments, because attraction doesn't need performance, it needs authenticity. But by becoming more aware, more grounded, more present in real moments, because attraction doesn't need performance, it needs authenticity. But by becoming more aware, more grounded, more present in real moments, because attraction doesn't need performance, it needs authenticity. Let me explain this in a way that really lands. Imagine you're in a hug with a woman, and instead of feeling the moment, you're thinking, am I holding too long? Should I move my hand? Is this awkward? What does this mean? There's one mistake, one silent pattern that ruins more moments of attraction than anything else. And it's not what you think. It's not a lack of looks. It's not a lack of opportunity. It's not even a lack of experience. It's overthinking. Overanalyzing every second, questioning your every move, trying to get it right instead of simply being present. Because the moment you leave your body and go into your head, you disconnect. And she feels that instantly. You stop chasing validation. You stop needing every interaction to mean something. And ironically, that's when things start meaning more, because you're no longer forcing outcomes. You're allowing connection to build naturally. And this is the energy that draws people in. Now compare that to a man who isn't thinking. He's just there, relaxed, grounded, present, same moment, completely different energy. And here's the truth most men need to hear. Women don't respond to perfection. They respond to presence. Because presence creates emotional safety, and emotional safety creates attraction. This is why two men can do the exact same thing and get completely different reactions. One feels natural, the other feels forced. One feels calm, the other feels uncertain, and that difference is everything. So how do you actually stop overthinking? Not by trying to think less, but by shifting your focus from performance to connection. Instead of asking yourself, what should I do next? Start asking, what am I feeling right now? Instead of trying to impress, start trying to understand. Because when your attention moves outward, your anxiety fades and your awareness sharpens. Let me give you something practical you can start using immediately. The next time you hug a woman, I want you to notice 3 things: her energy, her body language, and your own breathing. That's it. No complicated strategies, no rehearsed actions, just awareness. Because when you slow down enough to notice, you naturally respond better, and your responses become smoother, more confident, more aligned with the moment. Now let's go even deeper. There's something subtle, but incredibly powerful, that happens when you become comfortable in these moments. Think about it. Have you ever been around someone who just felt easy to be with? No pressure, no tension, no need to perform, just comfortable. That's the energy you want to create, and it starts with how you handle small moments like a hug. Because those small moments, they stack, they build, they create emotional memory. And emotional memory is what attraction is built on. Now here's another truth most men overlook. Attraction is not created in one moment. It's reinforced across many. Now let's talk about something even deeper. Emotional intelligence. Because everything we've discussed, reading signals, staying present, responding naturally, all of it comes back to this. Your ability to understand emotion without needing it to be explained, and this is what separates men who struggle from men who connect effortlessly, because emotional intelligence allows you to read between the lines, to feel what's happening beneath the surface, to respond in a way that feels intuitive, not calculated. And here's the good news. This is something you can develop. Every time you become more aware, every time you choose presence over overthinking, every time you stay grounded instead of reacting impulsively, you're strengthening that skill. And over time, it becomes natural. Now let me ask you something again, and I want you to really sit with it. How many moments have you missed? Because you were too busy trying to figure them out. How many signals went unnoticed? Because you were looking for certainty instead of connection. Because the truth is, most men don't lack opportunity, they lack awareness. And awareness changes everything. Now, if you've made it this far, it means you're not like most men. You're paying attention, you're learning, you're becoming more intentional with how you show up. And that's exactly what this is about. So if you want to keep developing this level of understanding, If you want to go deeper into female psychology, attraction dynamics, and the subtle behaviors that create real connection, make sure you subscribe to the Female Signals. Because this isn't about tricks, it's about transformation. It's about becoming the kind of man who understands without needing to be told. And before we close this, I want to bring you back to where we started. A hug. Simple. Everyday. Easy to overlook. But now you see it differently. Now you understand it's not just contact, it's communication, it's emotion, it's a moment filled with meaning, if you know how to read it. So the next time you're in that moment, don't rush it. Don't overthink it. Don't try to control it. Just be there. Fully. Calmly. Confidently. Because sometimes the smallest moments create the strongest connections. And now I want to hear from you. In your opinion, what's the biggest sign of attraction during a hug? Is it how long she stays close? How tightly she holds you? The way she looks at you after? Or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read them all. And if this changed the way you see things even a little, share this with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you in the next video. So don't put pressure on a single hug to define everything. Instead, see it as part of a larger story. A progression, a series of interactions that gradually build connection. And when you understand that, you become more patient, more grounded, more effective. So don't put pressure on a single hug to define everything. Instead, see it as part of a larger story, a progression, a series of interactions that gradually build connection. And when you understand that, you become more patient, more grounded, more effective. So don't put pressure on a single hug to define everything. Instead, see it as part of a larger story, a progression, a series of interactions that gradually build connection. And when you understand that, you become more patient, more grounded, more effective.